Traffic News at 5 starts now.
Thanks for joining us. We are following several breaking stories at this hour.
We begin with the son of a state senator who's dead. Police say he shot a man, then led them on a high-speed chase before killing himself.
This is where it all happened this morning. It all started at the Bowling Green Motel on AP Hill Boulevard. The suspect then gave chase down I-95 near the Carmel Church exit.
We're learning more about what happened. Our team coverage begins with 8 News reporter Jonathan Costin.
That's right. Authorities say that the violence unfolded today stems from a domestic situation, and people who knew all 3 people involved say it was a love triangle with only one person left alive. It was from this motel around 8 o'clock in the morning. Caroline County dispatchers got a chilling 911 call.
There was an argument that was going on and gunshots were fired.
Authorities tell us when deputies arrived at the motel, they saw a man taking off in an SUV, and he pointed a weapon at a deputy. To add to the chaos, there was a woman in the SUV. And to make matters worse, when deputies went inside the motel, they discovered a murder victim. His name was Jeremy Gift. He lived here. Neighbors are shaken up.
You get a knock on the door at 9 o'clock from a deputy saying there's a shooting, and you're like, you freeze. And then to find out, not only it was someone that he was murdered.
The suspect was identified as Todd Hawk, and he led deputies and state police in the pursuit. Authorities say they surrounded the SUV on I-95 in Spotsylvania County.
The suspect vehicle actually rammed a state trooper's vehicle that was in front of him, and then almost momentarily there was a gunshot heard from inside the vehicle.
Well, authorities tell us it appears that Hawk shot himself. Now, the woman who was in the car was physically unharmed. Now, Hawk was no stranger to law enforcement. Our colleague Mark Tania continues our team coverage with his extensive criminal background.
Thank you, Jonathan. The son of the former state senator has convictions going back more than 10 years. We've learned that he was in violations of one of his bond conditions when he left his home sometime last night.
Todd Hawk's attorney says he lived with his mother and father, the former Democratic Senator Ed Hawk. Hawk's attorney says they noticed this morning that their son had left their home sometime last night, even though he was under house arrest. Todd Hawk was no stranger to law enforcement, facing a number of charges in both Fredericksburg and Spotsylvania County since 2000. Most recently, Hawk faced 2 charges stemming from a burglary of an IHOP in Fredericksburg back in May of last year. Hawk turned himself in and had been in jail until August of this year. Last month, Hawk was sentenced to 1 year and 4 months for one of those charges and was released because of the time he had already served. Hawk was due back in court in October for another charge. He was out on a $1,500 bond, but was under a number of conditions. Hawk was under house arrest and under pretrial supervision and was only allowed to go to work and legal and medical appointments. His attorney says Hawk's parents called him this morning after they noticed their son was gone. Hawk's attorney says he notified the judge that Hawk had violated the terms of his bond, but by then, it was already too late.
Now, this is also not the first time that Hawk has gotten media attention. We'll tell you about a standoff that he had with police years ago that took a few hours. For right now, live in Fredericksburg, Mark Tania, 8 News.
Thank you, Mark. Thank you, Jonathan. Information on this case is still coming into our newsroom this evening. Stay with 8 News for complete coverage on this throughout the evening. We'll have live reports for you and, of course, the latest at WRIC.com.
Also breaking now, the report on the bloody arrest of UVA student Martise Johnson has been released now to the public. Our 8 News reporter Matthew McClellan is live in our newsroom right now. Matthew, what can you tell us about that report?
Hey, Amy, this report is now in the hands of Governor Terry McAuliffe. It's a review into allegations of wrongdoings by ABC agents with conduct recommendations moving forward. State police conducted the review after Martise Johnson's arrest back in March. ABC agents arrested Johnson outside a bar because they suspected he had a fake ID. Video of the arrest shows Johnson on the ground and bleeding from the head. All charges were eventually dropped. The 20-person panel that completed that report is made up of law enforcement representatives, Commonwealth's attorneys, and ABC licensed establishments, among others. Now, among the final recommendations, a renewed focus on ABC license regulation instead of street-level enforcement. Also, more training and increased staffing of ABC special agents. Recommendations also include ABC's accreditation through a state or national law enforcement accrediting body, stronger relationships among local and campus law enforcement, and body cameras during enforcement activities. The panelists also suggest quarterly reports showing progress toward those recommendations. Now, I talked to Martise Johnson's lawyer by phone a little while ago. He says he's looking over this administrative review. In our newsroom, Matthew McClellan, 8 News.
Pope Francis is in Washington, D.C. His plane landed at Andrews Air Force Base just a few hours ago.
We saw it live right here on 8 News, and now he makes history as he begins a jam-packed schedule. Washington, D.C. is buzzing. You were looking at video of the Pope's arrival just about an hour ago.
President Obama and Vice President Joe Biden met the pontiff there on the tarmac. You also see Michelle Obama and Sasha and Malia.
Thousands have flocked to the city to catch a glimpse of the pontiff. Our own 8 News reporter Kristen Smith is among the crowd, joining us now live from the National Mall. Kristen.
Well, good evening. We are at the National Mall, and this is a hub of activity. This is going to be Pope Central for a lot of folks. They're expecting tens of thousands of people to pack this area over the next couple of days. Tomorrow, the papal parade will pass through this area, and then on Thursday, when the Pope speaks to Congress, they're going to broadcast it live here at the National Mall on Jumbotrons. They say the setup here will rival any presidential inauguration. That's why there's been an amazing amount of attention to details, crews finishing the setup today, lights, cameras, and of course, plenty of excitement. We caught up with a family from Atlanta who is thrilled to witness Pope Francis' first trip to the United States.
I think it's very exciting. I mean, for the kids to have an opportunity to see the Pope and us to have an opportunity to see him, and it's rare that he comes to the United States, so.
It's kind of a once-in-a-lifetime deal.
Of course, there are hundreds of people from the Richmond area making the pilgrimage up I-95 to see the Pope. If you do not have a ticket to an event, you can still come on up and find space here at the National Mall. They're going to open the gates up at 4 a.m. tomorrow, but be sure to give yourself extra time for some pretty rigid security. Those folks from Richmond, you're going to meet some of them coming up at 6 o'clock. If you prefer to watch everything from the comfort of your home, just keep it with 8 News. We will bring you all of the highlights of this historic event. Live in Washington, Kristen Smith, 8 News.
Thank you for that, Kristen. And after his trip around the nation's capital, Pope Francis is heading to New York, then Philadelphia. The nearly week-long trip is expected to draw crowds in the hundreds of thousands. And 8 News is tracking every detail for you on air. We also have it for you online at WRIC.com.
News where you live now in Petersburg, where this morning on Oak Lane, 2 men were found murdered in a car. Police say they need your help to solve this double homicide. A maintenance worker discovered the bodies at Summit Point apartment complex. Police aren't saying who the men are or how they died. This is the second murder investigation in Petersburg in just the last 2 weeks. In Richmond, 3 people injured in 2 separate shootings. 2 women hit here on the 1900 block of Creighton Road just before 11:30. And 4 hours later, a man was found shot on Glenway Drive. No arrests in either case. The victims in both cases are expected to survive.
The UCI bike race is in full effect. Students at schools in Henrico are off tomorrow due to the UCI Road World Championships. It remains a planning development day, though, for staff members. In Hanover, then, students are getting the day off, too, but they are losing Columbus Day for it. If you're looking for a fun place to watch the races, Kings Dominion is hosting a fan zone tomorrow. The park is opening on Wednesday for the men's elite time trials that start inside the front gates. A section of Kings Dominion will be open to the public from 10 a.m. until 4 p.m. Shops and restaurants along International Street will be open, as well as some rides and attractions. Parking for that big event is free.
Police say more victims have come forward with allegations of sexual abuse against a church youth group leader. Jeffrey Clark, who used to volunteer at Emmanuel Baptist Church in Colonial Heights, is facing new charges of indecent liberties with a child. Police say 2 more male victims have come forward since Clark's arrest on September 8th. He's behind bars tonight at Riverside Regional Jail without bond. News where you live in Chesterfield County tonight. Repairs underway on a natural gas line that broke here today. Families near Velvet Antler and Deer Run Drive forced briefly to evacuate. We're told the line was damaged by a contractor. Columbia Gas also says about 66 customers will be without service for several hours.
The driver killed in an accident on Cold Harbor Road over the weekend is 19-year-old Riley LaRue of North Carolina. 8 News has learned he's the son of former Wake Forest athlete Rusty LaRue. The teen was driving a Jeep Wrangler when he ran off the road, striking a utility pole and then hitting a group of trees. That vehicle then overturned. This accident remains under investigation. Meanwhile, an 18-year-old from Fairfax County has been identified as the VMI cadet who collapsed and died during physical training on Monday. Sean De Kwong graduated earlier this year from Oakton High. The state medical examiner will determine an exact cause of death.
An area police department is getting thousands of dollars for new body cameras. 8 News anchor Christina Furyk has information on that story for us. Christina?
We've learned that the Department of Justice awarded nearly $500,000 in federal grants to 5 Virginia localities to purchase those police body cameras. Dinwiddie County is getting just over $16,000 of that money. Senator Mark Warner spoke today saying this is a big step forward in efforts to better protect public safety officers and the citizens they serve. Other localities receiving the grant money: the Newport News Sheriff's Office, City of Lynchburg, Waynesboro, and Fairfax. Nationally, the Justice Department awarded grants totaling more than $23 million to 73 law enforcement agencies in 32 states. Juan?
Thanks, Christina. An appeals court has denied a motion to retry a criminal case against former Delegate Joe Morrissey. The ruling upholds dismissal of 4 felony counts of fabricating court documents. The court said it lacked the authority to review immunity provisions that were part of a plea deal that Morrissey struck back in December. In that deal, Morrissey pled guilty to a misdemeanor in a sex scandal involving a teenager. Morrissey recently dropped out of a state Senate race due to health issues. Coming up next here on 8 News at 5, the Muslim boy detained for bringing his invention to school isn't going back to that school.
And what's the best way to celebrate the Pope's visit? We check in with some D.C. area breweries hoping their new creations are practically a religious experience. John?
Well, here across central Virginia, a few breaks in the clouds. The rain has stayed away from us, just mainly down right at the coastline this afternoon. I think things are going to look pretty good tomorrow for the big elite men's time trial of the races. We'll talk about it coming up next.
You are watching 8 News at 5. We're covering the news where you live.
From Farmville out to Wakefield, stay with us. We're back with more in just a moment.
Welcome back. The 14-year-old Muslim boy who got in trouble over a homemade clock mistaken for a possible bomb has now withdrawn from high school. Ahmed Mohammed's father pulled all of his kids from the school district this week. News of the boy's arrest sparked an outpouring of support for Ahmed, including from President Barack Obama.
The Kentucky court clerk jailed for refusing to issue marriage licenses to gay couples may find herself back behind bars. In an exclusive interview with ABC News, Kim Davis says she hasn't prevented deputy clerks from issuing same-sex licenses, but she has removed her name and the county name from those documents. Davis claims her religious convictions are more important than the law.
I've been called Hitler. I've been called a hypocrite. I've been called a homophobe. What probably hurts me the worst that my God does not love me, or that my God is not happy with me, that I am a hypocrite of a Christian.
Davis is not alone. Clerks in at least 5 other states are asking for their names to be removed from same-sex marriage licenses.
Celebrity chef Sandra Lee says she's cancer-free and feeling good after a double mastectomy. The 49-year-old Food Network star shared the news this morning on Good Morning America. She says she'll wait until next year to decide whether to undergo reconstructive surgery.
The Pope emoji app is out this evening, and you might want to check it out if you're into the pontiff. The keyboard app has more than 60 emojis. One is Pope Francis eating a Philly cheese steak sandwich. He's going to Philadelphia. He's also visiting the Statue of Liberty in one. They're available for both Apple and Android.
And everyone's pumped about the Pope's visit, including bars. In Washington and Baltimore, several places have crafted brews to commemorate Pope Francis's trip to the U.S. The Brooklyn Pine in D.C. is serving nearly 24 beers with religious themes. Or you can head on over to the Brewers Art Pub in Baltimore for a Resurrection Ale. And we do have another live look for you at D.C., where Pope Francis is marking his first visit to the United States. He just touched down about an hour ago. His Holiness will be the first pope to address a joint session of Congress. He will also canonize Blessed Junipero Serra, known for starting missions in California. John, for anybody who's heading north there for the Pope's visit, what kind of weather can they expect?
Very nice weather expected for them tomorrow. A little improvement for the midweek over us here. And of course, Father Matt Keel, who grew up in Midlothian, is going to be one of the people celebrating Mass with Pope Francis up in Washington, D.C. All right, outside right now, we're still in the lower 70s over us here. We've had clouds, a few breaks for a little sunshine, but the rain has stayed away from us, thankfully, today, which was great news for all the UCI cyclists. They didn't have any slick roads to deal with. A few sprinkles right along the coastline and down through the Hampton Roads area. Otherwise, it's all quiet. We've got a system spinning here off the coastline. It's going to get pushed down to the south for the next day or so, but I'm watching for it to come back into our area at the end of the week. And this could be setting us up for a soggy first weekend of fall. Yes, fall arrives tomorrow morning. Here are the clouds still kind of streaming over us here. There are some breaks in them, and while we won't have clear blue skies tomorrow, we're going to see a little bit more in the way of sunshine. A lot of sunshine out through the nation's midsection. Here's kind of a wild card playing into everything. This is the remains of what was a tropical system in the Pacific, came up off of Mexico, worked its way into the southwest, and some of the energy from that could get shunted in over us as we head into the weekend, make things a little unsettled. Tonight looks pretty good. There's still a lot of clouds around with a few breaks. We're headed down to around those 64 degrees where we start off this morning, so some upper 50s to the west of us. Forecast tonight looks quiet, mostly cloudy skies across the board. 66 degrees at midnight, down to 64 overnight. Tomorrow, let's go with peaks of sunshine for us here. We'll have some breaks of blue out there. We'll make it to 76 degrees at noon and look for a high temperature checking in right at 80. So overall, the futurecast looks okay. Again, more sunshine to the west of us. But as we go through the day, it looks all right through the day. A milder afternoon as we get up into the upper 70s to around 80 degrees. And then as we go later on in the afternoon tomorrow night, cool and comfortable overnight into Thursday. Thursday, another pretty good day for us. Temperatures around 80 degrees. But after that, the 8-day forecast is looking unsettled. Clouds are on the increase on Friday. Hopefully I can hold the rain off until Friday night. Saturday and Sunday looking kind of rainy, and the rain could linger into Monday before things clear up towards Tuesday and Wednesday. We're back right after this.
Welcome back. Dancing with the Stars is now down one celebrity after the first elimination of the season. Legendary Grammy Award-winning songstress Chaka Khan sent home.
You seem a little bit relieved.
To be honest, I am. The thing is, I have stage fright.
You have stage fright.
After 40 friggin' frack years, yes, I still have stage fright.
You heard it right there. Bindi Irwin is rocking and rolling to the top spot with partner Derek Huff and their tango, claiming the first 9 of the season. Not too far behind, actress Alexa Penavega, climbing the leaderboard with her ferocious salsa. Her hubby Carlos is hot on her heels. Singer-songwriter Tamar Braxton tied with them for second place. So who will stay, who will go? There is another elimination tonight, and the suspense is growing.
Ooh, it's going to be a jam-packed night. Got Dancing with the Stars. Also, the new Muppets show kicks off this evening at 8 o'clock.
That is going to be huge.
Our primetime lineup is good tonight. That's followed by a brand new episode of Fresh Off the Boat. And at 9, another celebrity gets booted from Dancing with the Stars. Please let it be Gary Busey.
Then you can catch all of today's headlines and news where you live in the first 8 minutes on 8 News at 11.
PETA is joining the fight over this now famous monkey selfie. The animal rights group filed a lawsuit saying the monkey, not the photographer who positioned the camera, should own the rights. David Slater, who owns the camera, tried to claim the rights for himself in a suit against Wikipedia. A few years ago, he was unsuccessful. The court ruled that no one owns the rights because the photo was taken by an animal.
Well, you know, I just want to say that I think that the monkey has a great smile.
That will have to do for right now.
That will have to do.
Stay with us. There's more ahead in just a moment. Welcome back. Time to reveal our special keyword of the day. It's two-step. as in the famous dance you see on Dancing with the Stars. When you enter two-step at rewards.wric.com, we'll give you 2,500 points. You can use those points to play games or win prizes. Brand new half hour of 8 News just a few minutes away.
Here's what we have coming up for you in just a few minutes. A death investigation underway in Petersburg. 2 people found dead inside a car. 8 News anchor Avajoy Burnett has more on this developing story, new at 5:30. John.
All right, look at the forecast for tomorrow for the men's elite time trial from Kings Dominion to downtown. Partly sunny skies, breeze out of the northeast. So that'll be behind the riders most of the way. Start off at 77 degrees. That's 25 Celsius. We'll finish around 80.